Why would she be drugged? Ooh, examine the alarm.
Another alarm. It was tripped at some point. The seal is broken. But there's no way of telling whether it happened yesterday or 5 years ago.
Examine the notepad. Could be...
The notepad has the ship's emblem on it. I suppose all the first-class cabins have them.
Ooh, first class. I was just thinking, actually, it could be that... Actually, this is what we're doing. It could be that Gebhardt pulled the alarm to cover his... cover the gunshot sound. But, of course, we don't know that it was pulled yesterday, so I don't really want to use that as a particular piece of evidence for my thoughts. In the saloon at 10 PM. There is a murderer on board, and I will expose him. So a him.
It says, Inspector, be in the saloon at 10 PM. There is a murderer on board and I will expose him. B. The Baroness seems to have known the murderer. And that means that the Raven can't be the murderer. He never killed anybody. Legrand probably never got the message. Otherwise, he'd have said something.
Yes. Examine the mannequin.
The mannequin surely came with the cabin. A mannequin for the Baroness's clothes would have a more generous figure.
Right. The bed, vase, cupboard, vase. Doesn't look like there's a space to hide.
A big, ugly, and impractical vase. If it had a wider opening, one could at least use it as an umbrella stand.
We could use it as a single umbrella stand. It looks like there's nowhere to hide, so that... Oh. That seems to back up my thought that this is going to be a closed... This is a locked door puzzle, and I think she was killed at a later time... Or, yes, certainly later time, which means that Gebhardt's the likely suspect, the prime suspect, as he was the one who declared her dead. When we're saying she wasn't killed. Let's not go through the whole reasoning again, but she knows someone's a murderer. Makes sense, actually. She saw Gebhardt, fainted, didn't want to be looked at by the doctor because then they'd recognise each other. He recognised her, thought she'd reveal him, and then killed her to keep her quiet. Found something under here. What have we got?
Something's under there.
Yes, well done.
Down feathers. Maybe from a quilt or a pillow. Nothing special. Although, it seems like one of the feathers was scorched at the top. Literally burnt. I'll take it with me.
Yes. Why would you... Ooh, oh, that's the message, isn't it? It does seem a little odd. Like, why would you burn the feathers? Right, you wouldn't deliberately burn the feathers. Why are the feathers down there? You should assume that they'd fall off the bed and go down. Could be... If she was shot later and no one noticed, instead of pulling alarm to cover the noise, it could be that whoever did it... whoever did it was... used a pillow to cover the noise. Right, we'll look at the vase again. We need to look at it.
Can't see anything.
Oh dear.
Wow. Heavier than it looks.
Oh, more down feathers.
Aha.
Wait, what? What? Is like a... I heard a movement in there. Is the pillow in there?
Why were the down feathers
right.
tossed in the vase? Or is there anything else in there?
Examine the
There may be
vase.
something else in the vase, but the neck is too narrow to reach in with my hand.
Okay, we need like a big thing that we can examine. Use. Let's look at the luggage. Maybe there's something in there we can use.
Apparently, the Baroness didn't have time to unpack her bags. Or rather, didn't have time to tell her butler to unpack them for her. Sifting through all that would take ages. But here, the Baroness's handbag.
Haha!
Aha.
A diary of some sort.
A small leather-bound book. 1964 is engraved on it. This must be the Baroness's diary.
Yes, a logical guess.
Let's see. Yes, it's a diary, all right. Difficult to read.
And assume it isn't written in.
No entry from yesterday.
What about the day before?
A brief, sober description of what she's done recently. Met Morris, arranged benefit concert for renovation of Louvre Southeastern Wing, Times photo shoot for Eye of Sphinx, BM, poor excuse for photographer, too fidgety, and so on.
What's the most recent entry?
This entry looks strange. The handwriting is shaky, difficult to read.
The diary's not
Dreamt
moving.
of Bubby. Yesterday would have been his birthday. Next week, Jay's.
Who are they? Who are they?
The Baroness was a very busy woman, and it looks like she had to cope with the loss. She writes about Bubby and Jay. Neither seem to be alive anymore. Almost every family lost loved ones in the war. Maybe hers as well.
I would suspect it has something to do with the claim of there was a murder on board. Maybe someone that they did something. I don't know.
I'll leave it there.
Okay.
I don't have time to read all of it.
Maybe give it to Legrand. He might need the rest.
Cosmetics, a handkerchief, a spectacles case. Nothing special.
We did read something new. What have we got? Conclusion evidence. No, nothing new. I thought so. Maybe it's under Baroness of Trebbits. Let's see if I'm right. No. Next page. Baroness suffered a heavy loss. She wrote of nightmares in her diary, and she carried the past with her in many photographs. I suspect her family was killed in the war. Nothing else. We'll look at the cupboard, then we'll look at the bed. It doesn't look like the right colour for blood.
A tape recorder.
Aha!
Must go with the built-in speakers. Probably part of the cabin's furnishings.
Okay, is there a tape in it?
The tape recorder is older than the hills, but it was once very expensive. Top of the range. And it doesn't come cheap.
Examine it.
Strange. There's only one reel. And it's the wrong one.
Ah!
No. No sign of the original reel.
Okay, we'll grab that.
A reel made by Zeibling. I know the brand. Zeibling's tapes can be overwritten many times without losing quality. They're used in offices so that executives can record messages for their secretaries on the same tape over and over again. But they're not good for much else. They're robust, but they don't offer much in terms of sound quality.
Grab it. I would suspect that, yeah, I think that then goes with, so there's some kind of recording device that's being used. You can use this to overwrite, record the gunshot, ba 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 ba. It's all falling into place. Let's examine the bed.
There's still blood on the mattress. The sheet and the blanket have already been removed. To analyze them, I suppose.
Let's have a look. Search the bed. What do you spot?
Nothing.
Examine the blood spot. It's not nothing.
The blood spot is the only sign that someone committed a crime in here. Somehow... That's odd. The blood is so...
Yes.
red. Shouldn't it gradually darken in the air?
Yes.
Turn brown?
Yes. Yes.
The unusual color of the blood could be something that Legrand and Dr. Gebhardt missed last night. All cats are gray in the dark, as the saying goes. I should take a sample.
Yes.
The unusual...
Oh, right.
All cat...
Do I not have any... I think I need like a swab thing, don't I? Well, what was it? We're going to look at the cover, which looks like...
There should be a ventilation shaft behind the hatch.
Yes.
Usually a good way to break in and out undetected. But we're on a ship. The ventilation shafts are very small here.
How would they get back up?
I can't say why, and it seems impossible. But something tells me that the murderer entered and left the cabin through the door. The only question is how.
Maybe they moved this across to go back up, but no, no, the tape recorder. It's the tape recorder. It's not. It's a different time scale of things. Examine the vase. No, we need something else for that. No, it was done at a different time.
The door frame was damaged when Dr. Gebhardt kicked it in. The real question is, why was the door locked in the first place?
Maybe the Raven was after well, not the Raven, but the new Raven, or one of his accomplices came in, came through here, went back up, and so that they wouldn't be bothered, they locked the door and then went back up, possibly.
Assuming the murderer isn't a magician, and the Baroness locked the door herself before she went to bed, the murderer couldn't have left the cabin through the door.
Yes.
So, the murderer must have still been in here when Dr. Gebhardt kicked the door in. Which is unlikely, because someone would have seen him.
Yes.
Or he found another way out of the cabin.
Or she wasn't dead. Or she wasn't dead. This is the issue. I don't think... We'll have to see where the ventilation comes out. Head out. There's the butler. Examine the globe.
An antique wooden globe. If Galileo hadn't asserted himself back then, this would be a flat disc now.
No. The ancient Egyptians and Greeks knew that the world was round. Some of the rumors as to why they built the pyramids was to work out the diameter. Was it Eratosthenes? Or was it Aristophanes? Kind of worked out the circumference of the Earth. Yes. It was accepted that it was round. Sorry, that bugs me. Talk to Inch. He does look a little fidgety. And as we all know, the trope, but the butler did it.
The Baroness's butler looks like he didn't get much sleep. I would describe his facial expression as worried.
Yes, and his fidgety nature.
Hello, Mr. Inch.
Oh, Constable, hello.
You look the worse for wear. It must be terrible for you.
Quite terrible. No one will hire me now.
Excuse me?
My mistress was murdered. Would you hire a butler who's been mixed up in a murder?
But if it turns out that you're not guilty...
If. But what if not? Who else would they blame? There are no gardeners on this ship.
I understand your problem. Under these circumstances, I'm sure you'd answer some questions that could help clear your name, wouldn't you?
Of course.
What happened? Ooh, no. The Baroness's alcohol consumption.
The Baroness seemed to be pretty drunk the last time I saw her.
Is that so?
Does that surprise you? Did the Baroness not drink?
Oh, yes, she drank. It was no secret.
I understand. How serious was her habit?
Serious enough, sir.
Was she under any medical supervision?
Certainly not, sir. She adamantly refused to see a doctor. Like so many elderly women, she had a distinct aversion to hospitals and the like.
Okay, maybe is why she was wary of Dr. Gebhardt. Or, if he's a prior murderer and she knew he was a doctor, it could be that... there's a connection between those 2 points. Being wary of Dr. Gebhardt and being wary of doctors. I'm not entirely sure which way is causal. The cabin was ransacked.
The Baroness's cabin seems to have been ransacked.
Indeed, sir, by the Baroness herself.
Really?
She was searching for something the entire afternoon.
And did she find it?
I think she did, sir, yes. She was in high spirits when she finally left her cabin.
You wouldn't happen to know what she was looking for, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Was she normally an orderly woman?
Would you describe the Baroness as orderly?
Well, she always had a lot of responsibilities, sir.
That doesn't answer my question.
She used to take a lot of luggage on journeys, and I helped her keep track of it as best I could. She was always very angry when she couldn't find something.
What about the photos and the documents I saw in her cabin?
I really don't know. They were out of bounds to me, sir. Memories from the war, I'd say. They meant a lot to her.
Okay. You work for the Baroness.
How long had you worked for the Baroness?
6 months, sir.
Only 6 months? I always thought that butlers stayed with their employers for decades.
Those decades have to start at some point, Constable. Her former butler wasn't able to fulfill his duties any longer. Gout, sir.
I understand.
I took on his duties and hoped for a secure position for the next 20 years.
You have a stiff arm.
May I ask what happened to your arm?
A souvenir from the war, sir.
Doesn't it hinder your work?
Yes, sir, obviously.
I didn't mean to offend you.
The Baroness had a soft spot for disabled veterans. I think she'd been through a lot herself.
Where were you last night?
Did you notice anything suspicious last night?
That's probably a gentler way of saying it.
After the Baroness went to the saloon, I went to the forecastle. I was there until the alarm went off. I went to the side deck and arrived shortly after Professor Lucien and Miss Miller. We found you and Inspector Legrand there. You were unconscious, and the inspector asked us to take care of you.
Not Dr. Gebhardt. Oh, he would have been examining the body and the cabin. Did you hear the gunshot?
Did you hear the gunshot?
No, just the alarm, sir.
So obviously it wasn't that loud. Leisure time?
You said you were on the forecastle. It sounded like the Baroness let you have the rest of the night off.
Not entirely, sir. One of the crew informed me that the Baroness wanted to be roused at 10:15.
Right. Why was that?
To meet Legrand.
I suppose that she wanted to toast the success of the journey with the captain and the other passengers.
To meet Legrand.
She hadn't intended to take a nap then.
That was not her way, sir. She had a lot of spirit, shall we say, when it came to social engagements and a glass or two of champagne.
I think that's all for now.